Uh,
Hi everyone. Welcome to Econ by Tim and welcome to the first episode of Econ Stories where we have Dr. Komal Sahai with us. I'm very happy to have her and I will just tell a little bit about her before we deep dive into the story of Komal's life. Komal did her undergraduation in economics honors from Miranda House. Then she pursued her Masters of Economics from Delhi School of Economics. And after that, she went to Indian School of ISI Delhi for
Indian
her PhD.
Statistical Institute. Yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
and she did her PhD in economics from there. Post that, she worked as a professor in OP Jindal University, if I'm not wrong. And
Yes, you are right.
which that is the thing which our podcast or our interview is about, what she did after Jindal, as we can see on her, the filter behind her face, Econiti. So from here, I would like Komal to step in and talk about herself and then introduce Econiti to all of us.
Thank you, Manvi. First of all, thank you for having me. I mean, this is the first interview I'm doing. This is the first public platform that I'm at as the co-founder of Econiti. So this is actually huge for me, and for me as in for Econiti. Well, what to introduce? So you've already said that I have a background in economics. The only thing relevant is that I really love to teach, and the feedback that I got from students was that I did a decent job at teaching. So that's the story. I mean, so when I was teaching, of course, when I was learning, then I realized that I mean a lot of things did not click. It was more about कि पढ़ना है और मतलब एग्जाम में अच्छा करना है, which most of us are able to do if you spend some time doing it. But I mean, when I started teaching during PhD, a lot of things became clear. But when I started teaching, then I started thinking in ways of how to communicate with students. And then I realized that hardly anyone does it. So that is something that I really wanted to do because that is something that connected with students. So I realized ki if I tell them a story, if I tell them that this is what happens and maybe related, you related to their friendship, you related to their relationship with their parents or their job or their romantic relationships, immediately the thing stuck. So I realized that there's this gap in which economics is taught in a way that is too mechanical. Not only economics, anything is taught in a way that is too mechanical. And but I believe that I had something to offer there and students would value it. Apart from that, I also realized that when we are teaching economics to just the, say, undergraduate or postgraduate students, we have a very like it's a lot of in depth, but the horizontal breadth is missing. So people who have a lot of very very high degrees in economics, they have very narrow, very little understanding of how things in the real world actually work. So they are unable to even understand the newspaper if you tell them to read the economic section. So I'm from the same. I'm an academic, right? So I was there. I knew that I have a PhD in economics, but this is somewhere that I was lacking. And then it drew me towards making it broader. It drew me towards teaching for civil services. And I think I have learned more by teaching than I have yet been able to impart to the students. I hope to do that. But so yeah, so that is the thought. That was the thought behind Econiti. So Econiti is I met my co-founder who had a very similar vision, and that is how it turned into what we are today. We are an institute, which the aim is to target everything economics, and not target in the sense of providing a tuition or providing anything which the college already does, but to eliminate the need for the student to scourge for resources. So maybe we provide them things that they should already have had in the first place, right? So we provide them with whatever syllabus they require, whatever practice questions they require, uh, teaching that is able to connect. So ये vision है. implement कर रहे हैं. It's broad, so it takes time. Um, let's see where it goes.
I
Yeah.
am sure it's going to be like absolutely great. But जैसा आपने कहा that you enjoy teaching and students loved you. So what struck you that आपने सोचा that let's leave Jindal and start something of your own? What was the vision and the thought behind it? Because teaching is something which you were getting to experience at college
Mm.
also. So can you tell us a little about how the thought or the how the thought of the seed that I want to do something of my own click to you? Is there any story or particular day which something struck you?
Uh, Actually, it wasn't that black and white.
Oh,
So I had to leave Jindal because of a lot of reasons. And anyways, I was looking for something that is in another institute. So I mean, I don't want to get a lot in detail over there. It was just that um, I was looking for a job change, just like anyone, right? So if you've I've taught there for 3 years, so I was looking for a
absolutely.
change to go somewhere else. It was just that. Then I realized that, I like teaching, and maybe I want to dedicate more of time to teaching. So what happens as an academic is that you have to dedicate time for teaching and a lot of time for research as well. I do enjoy research, but I decided that for this time I want to, like, give more, or more proportion of time towards teaching. So that was the thought. So I thought that, maybe if I take a break, I will be able to finish up. That's the story. I will be able to finish up my papers, my research papers, and then I'll probably get into a more teaching focused role. And once I left the job, of course, the jobs don't line up. So I just started looking for roles in which teaching is very, very important. And then I realized that while university teaching is something, but teaching for UPSC, teaching for the examinations that the civil services boards conduct, they have a lot of scope, because the insight in those exams is very important. So it is not only about रट्टा मार के कर लिया, या फिर सिर्फ वही चीजें पढ़ ली जो कि हमको पता है कि यही यही आता है. उससे ज्यादा मतलब बहुत ही इन डेप्थ अंडरस्टैंडिंग की जरूरत है. एंड आई थिंक the alignment was that I myself wanted to understand the economy at a much better level than what I had. So I had a lot of understanding of economics, but it was theoretical, and I wanted to get it more practical. So the alignment came that if I teach this, I also learn a lot, and I'm also able to maybe communicate it better to students. And that is where it started. So I just started teaching, and my co-founder Siddharth Rathore, he is a assistant professor in Delhi University, and he has been, doing this teaching and connecting to students for a long time now. So then he
Absolutely.
was also looking to, partner up with someone to do it at a more professional level, at a more organized level. So then I just plunged. I just took the
I mean,
leap. There
that
was
is
no plan.
that
I
is
just
that is a really lovely story because there are so many parts where I resonate with you. I mean, the fact that teaching is more interested in research to some of us, that was one thing which made me also not pursue my PhD immediately. And
Hmm,
I
hmm.
am still not planning to do one. So that's there. That's one thing where I resonate with you. And second thing is that something which I really appreciate, not just at a professional level, but at a personal level too, that when we are actually true to what we like, we always build something great. So in that case, that's Econiti for you. So I have myself, I mean, done some projects with you and I have experienced it firsthand. The quality of students, the quality of content which is being provided is definitely one of its own kind. So, I mean, since this podcast is more about building something of our own, I'm sure everybody must be thinking about that. Okay, there was a thought. Dr. Komal followed it, found the co founder, started things. But in all of this, it might not all be so rosy. I am sure there must have been challenges which you would have faced. So, I mean, what were the challenges and how did you cope up with them? So, that would be something very useful for all of us to know.
Uh, that's a difficult question. Because see, the challenges can be two kinds, right? So, um, one, if you're doing a startup, that's a challenge in itself because you're leaving a stable job, you're leaving a stream of income that will definitely be there. That's one challenge. Challenges that come with starting your own thing. But I don't want to talk about that because I think the focus over here is about the challenges of Econiti as an institute. And I want to talk about those challenges.
Of course.
So I believe uh, the challenge was so what was not a challenge is immediately as in over the course that I myself was studying and then जब मैंने पढ़ाना शुरू किया कि भाई एक requirement है to teach in a certain way that students resonate with and people are not doing it. So this was definitely there, not the challenging part. The challenging part was to deliver on that, right? So to be able to actually redefine the way in which economics is taught. So हर मॉडल का सिर्फ मॉडल नहीं है, सिर्फ मॉडल और उसका एक्सरसाइजेस नहीं कर लिया, वो तो सभी कर रहे हैं, वो तो अच्छे से ही कर रहे हैं.
Hmm.
बट यू टीच इन अ वे दैट स्टिक्स विद स्टूडेंट्स. द स्टूडेंट्स ऑल्सो अंडरस्टैंड कि हम जो हैं आज अगर like it has been understood that suppose new Keynesian economics is the most relevant, right? New Keynesian economics actually understands the world much better right now. Then telling the students that why is it still relevant to start at the beginning? Why are we still doing redundant models? ये मेरे को जब मैं फिजिक्स पढ़ती थी जब इन स्कूल आई हैड साइंस दिस इज समथिंग दैट आई ऑलवेज यूज्ड टू क्वेश्चन कि मतलब हम तो अब आ गए ना इतना आ गए सो व्हाई आर वी स्टडीइंग द रदरफोर्ड मॉडल व्हिच हैज बीन डिसप्रूवन व्हाई आर वी
Hmm.
स्टडीइंग अ मॉडल जिसका कि डिसप्रूव हो चुका है बट context is so important that students don't realize. And when they are taught in context, you appreciate everything more. Plus, there's something about a story, right? You understand how the entire discipline evolved. It's just so interesting. So I believe that was the challenge. That how do you actually deliver that story? मतलब economics को कैसे पढ़ाओ कि students start seeing it as a way of thinking rather than just a dry something that or something that has math. So please, एकदम ही you just you lose people immediately as you say math. So that was one challenge. That's an ongoing challenge as we encounter new students. That's thing. The second is I would say that how to reach students. So uh, uh, students have ability but access नहीं है. तो उस तरीके से भी I mean there are various ways in which you can reach. You can provide value. You can give scholarships. You can talk in their language. Talking to Gen Z in their language is another challenge because हम नहीं है Gen Z हमें नहीं समझ आता. But अक्सर the attitude towards which people talk to younger generations is derogatory. That's what we faced, right? So people senior to you always tell us कि भाई तुम्हें क्या पता है ना मतलब why you being so casual, why you post so much on social media. अरे तो it's a new generation. Every generation does something new, right? So to treat them as adults is very important. और वो कई बार challenging होता है मतलब मुझे लगती है बातें stupid. But that's the generation gap. But you have to conquer that because if you feel that people in front of you are stupid, then you can never understand their perspective. And this is a challenge I believe most teachers don't realize. मतलब, it's true that I know more than them, but I know more than them about economics. Maybe not so much about how they're dealing with their lives, right? So to be able to connect to them on that level is something I believe एक्टिवली वी ट्राई एट इकोनिटी क्योंकि फिर बच्चे रिस्पेक्टेड फील करते हैं तुम किसी को तुम्हें क्या पता वैसे इफ यू टॉक टू समवन लाइक दैट नो वन विल कनेक्ट and this is
Absolutely.
something
Yeah.
that we want to be treated with respect, right? So we have to give it first and then we can expect it back. So I
Yeah.
believe,
So, so I think generation gap and connecting with students and leaving a stable job would summarize the challenges you faced. So, I mean, given
yeah.
your perspective, I think you are coping up pretty well. So, kudos for that. So
Fake it till you make it. That's my motto.
So, I mean, building upon that, what would be your one advice to students who are right now doing their masters and are confused about what to do next? Because that's what the most questions I've gotten from those
Hmm.
segment of people. It is still pretty simple, as same case for me, as I said in my previous video. If you like a subject, you do a bachelor's in it. If you like it
Hmm.
more, then you do a master's in it. But the real question and the real life starts from once you're done with the master's. So I
Hmm.
remember from our conversation when I asked you this question, how did you know you wanted to do a PhD? So your answer was very simple. I just knew that I didn't want to go to corporate. That's
Yeah.
great. I mean, that clarity, knowing what not to do is equally important. It gives you a lot of clarity. But there are so many people who are not even able to understand what
Hmm.
they do not want to do. So, how do they even start thinking about it? What should be their first step in understanding themselves better?
See, that's a very loaded question because we also have to understand that not everyone can do whatever they want, right? So even if this has both aspects. One is that you don't know what to do, right? The other is that you know what to do, but because of some family situation, because of some financial situation, because of the access you have, you just cannot do what you do. So I believe whenever I mentor students, these are all the aspects that we take into account. So there's no easy answer. Suppose you want to do a PhD, but you have to come from a place of privilege to be able to do a PhD because a PhD takes 5 to 6 years in which you will not earn or you will just earn a stipend. Now it depends then what kind of background you come from, what is the expectation of your family, what is your um, uh, you know income situation like that, whether you can do this or not, right? So if someone has very high what do you say ambition of going into some field, but we also have to take into account कि उस field में होने के chances कितने हैं. Can the student sustain say 2 to 3 years without income and keep on preparing for that, recognizing के aptitude है कि नहीं. So these are very, what do you say? It's not a question with a simple answer. It is a question that is extremely customized to whatever student we are looking for. So definitely there has to be a component of doing what you love to do, but that always comes with the privilege of being able to do what you love to do. So yeah, if you can do that, very good. If you cannot do that, then we have to look at things more realistically. So yeah, I don't think I gave a one liner.
That's
क्योंकि
fine.
है
We are
नहीं.
not looking for one-liners here.
हाँ, है नहीं,
So
है नहीं. अगर अगर तुम कर सकते हो तो definitely go for something that you like. Because then matlab it's cliche, but it's true that work doesn't feel work. You get stressed because not because you have a lot of work. You get stressed because you do work that you don't want to do. So
absolutely.
ये है. But हाँ, उसके साथ अगर नहीं है तो हमें options तो देखने ही है. Maybe sometime later. So I am doing what I'm doing, but I am doing it quite late in my life. अब मेरे पास ये privilege है कि मैं कर सकती हूँ तो कर रही हूँ.
So, as I'm able to gather from your answer is that first to consider your situation and just not forget if you like something, taking one step at a
Yeah,
time, and that moment comes to you. So, I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
that's something which can work out for anyone, irrespective of their backgrounds or their interests are. So,
True, true.
so
And you
okay.
don't have to think that, okay, right now I'm not able to do it, so I won't be able to do it ever. That's what you said. So you remember what you want. And maybe over time you find that time in your life कि भाई अब कर सकते हैं, अब चीजें stable हैं. Go for it, definitely.
Okay. So last two questions will be very, very economics oriented. Uh,
Okay.
So first question would be that let's talk about those students who are very, very sure about entering the world of PhD. So
Hmm.
top three picks which they should read when they are in their masters.
Top three what?
Books. Any top three books which
Books.
you would recommend them to read.
Oh, that's a tough question.
I have one book in my mind which I think
Can you
uh,
tell me so that I can know that what kind of books you're talking about?
Troyan. I mean, I think Freud is
Freud.
a
Okay.
best check if
Hmm.
you want to understand if you like economics as a story and beyond the conventional
Hmm.
models and question answers. It
So I
would
would, in that sense, Salvatore. Yes,
okay.
Salvatore is very good. Yeah. And yes, this book, Econometrics, Woolrich.
Yes, that's one you gave to me too.
Yes. If you want to understand econometrics और even understand कि हम क्या करते हैं, क्यों करते हैं और क्या सबके पीछे intuition है, Woolrich. Wonderful book. Wonderful book. And another book, again for econometrics, you can go for Angrist and Pishke. That is less like a textbook, but a brilliant storyteller. Um, yeah, yeah.
Okay. And so, I mean, since there are so many people you would know who are trying to get into ISI for either their
Hmm.
master's or PhD, can you tell us a little about your time there? And in hindsight, do you think anything from that experience helped you in what you are currently building right now?
My time at ISI?
Yes.
Oh, it was the best time. It was the best time. So I'll tell you why. Um, so in DU usually you don't get a hostel. We did have a hostel, and I mean it was nice, but the hostel is not in the campus. Similarly for D school, no hostels, and the environment in D school is very Mm, I would say stressful because of a lot of reasons. But ISI is a place that, feels like home for a lot of reasons. One is because the environment is very conducive to anything that you want to do. Environment is very conducive to learning, right? It's very conducive to if you want to do research, if you want to have a community, right? Um, Also, if because it's now again, it's also having a lot of corporate placements. अभी ISI में भी बहुत ज़्यादा corporate presence है. So even for that, so that was one thing. Secondly, the professors and all, काफी like very supportive compared to usual thing that you will find in any other university because I was in DU for a long time and even though the faculty were at Miranda are also good, I just feel that if you're not staying in the campus, there's only a limited connect that you can have. But when everything is in campus, you have a wonderful time. The relationships that you build, the understanding that you build, it's very wonderful. And I forgot your second question.
No, and how did that time is somewhat helping you in building what you are building at Econiti
Mm,
right now?
So two ways. One is in terms of, I mean, the skill set that I developed, which is the technical sense. So I developed a very good research skill set, which helps me in a lot of ways in understanding data, in understanding arguments. So what most of the people lack is picking out logical fallacies in informal arguments. And the media that we have presented before us these days, it's full of those logical fallacies. So when you
Hmm.
do a research, at least what I did, I now am able to parse through fallacies in any argument, and that's a very important tool that I developed. Similarly, going through data, understanding data, and being able to manipulate it, another. So technical skills would be these. Um, Apart from that, the community skills. So I value community, and that's something that I think that students would also value if there was a community. If you have a community of like-minded people or people who are in the same field, जैसे एक economics की community हुई जिनमें तुम्हें कुछ चाहिए, probably you require something, probably you want to collaborate on something. So if there is a ready place to go, that feels very it feels comfortable. You know that तुम उसमें कोई ऐसा jargon भी throw करोगे तो लोग तुम्हें वैसे नहीं देखेंगे कि भाई अरे ये क्या बोल दिया, पता है वहां पे लोगों को. And
Absolutely.
so I'm hoping to build that as well. So we want to build a like one-stop community for economics at Econiti. Of course, it's a longer term goal, but we are working towards that as well. That is something that I cherish for myself.
Okay, so I think that was all with my questions. And I really hope that Econiti goes till where you are not even able to imagine where it can go. And to all of the people who are watching, I will also link Komal's Instagram and LinkedIn and Econiti socials if you feel like to contact her for any guidance. And if you wish to do certain courses from them, of course, go have a look. And there are also some courses which I teach there. I'm not going to tell right now. Go ahead and check it out for yourself. So thank you, Komal. It was lovely having you. And we will see you at Econiti.
Yes, thank you, Manvi. I believe that your words are really kind. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for having me again. It was wonderful.
Same here, likewise.